1 now is amended. Mr. Secretary.
House Bill number 1451, a bill for an act to amend and reenact a section of the code relating to disclosure requirements for petition sponsors and the requirements for calling and the duties of a grand jury.
Senator City.
Mr. President, the only portions of the bill we haven't yet discussed are sections 3 and 4 on page 4. In section 3, the grand jury is to inquire into the offenses against offenses in the criminal code that have been committed in that county. The offenses may be brought by the court or the state's attorney or his or her designee. The state's attorney informs the grand jury of the alleged offense, the identity of the offender, and the state's recommended action. In section 4, the word felonious is added so that a grand jury may inquire into willful and corrupt felonious misconduct in office, not be convened for minor charges. The sponsors of the bill made the point that a grand jury should be impaneled only when there's broad support from within the county and when there is something of substance to be investigated. A grand jury serves as a check on the prosecutor if he fails to act, and then the citizens have a recourse. But there are other recourses also. Any individual may bring a case that could go to trial. The prosecutor could be recalled. There are elections to deal with prosecutors who fail to act. While the grand jury process is important and is part of the Constitution, it needs to be used only in serious cases when proper authorities fail to act, and the Judiciary Committee recommends do pass by a vote of 4-3.
Senator Schneider.
Mr. President, just for clarification, all of the protections in the Bill of Rights are going to adhere if someone becomes a criminal defendant, just to be absolutely straightforward on that. Second, I have two questions for the carrier, Mr. President. The first, if I heard the carrier correctly, that there's a minimum requirement of 225 signatures. I'm wondering if the committee gave any consideration to the fact that this could potentially preclude the grand jury statute from being used in some of our smaller population counties. I guess that's the first question, and I could yield for an answer now.
Senator City, do you wish to answer that question?
Yes, Mr. President, there are always, in every county, there are at least, the least number of votes cast was 430. And so 225 would be quite a large number, but yet we felt that it is a very achievable number.
Senator Schneider?
Mr. President, I would just hope for good voter turnout to continue in that case. The second question for the carrier, Mr. President, how many times has an individual been indicted by a citizen-initiated grand jury in the history of our state?
Senator City, do you wish to answer that question?
Mr. President, I don't know.
Any further discussion? Senator Nelson.
Well, Mr. President, the minority leader just asked one of my questions, but one of the concerns I had and one of the reasons I voted no on this in committee was 43 people based on a county size of 430. 225 is more than half of the county that would have to sign that petition. Whereas if you lived in my county with 100,000 people, you're maxed out at 5,000 people signing. I don't think that's fair. This was, I think, brought to light because of the situation of county west of us. We had several people in, and it almost sounded like we were debating that particular discussion. But it really is broader than that. We have to look at beyond one suit that's brought. We have to look at the whole thing, and I just didn't think this bill was necessary.
Further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the final passage of House Bill Senator Sinner.
I have a question of the Judiciary Committee, maybe the chairman. We're talking about a bill here, changes our Constitution, changes our laws, and there wasn't any testimony regarding how many times this has been used in the past. None? Is that correct?
Is there any senator wish to answer the question, either the chairman or the carrier?
Mr. President, we heard that there are 6 petitions being circulated currently in the state, but we don't know if anyone has actually been indicted in the past. That was the first question.
Senator Hogue.
Mr. President, this does not amend the Constitution.
Further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the final passage of House Bill 1451. The Secretary please open the key. All senators have voted. Any senator wishing to change their vote? Secretary close the key. Final tally on House Bill 1451 reveals 30 senators voting yea, 15 senators voting nay, 2 senators absent and not voting. The bill is passed. Back at the sixth order, House Concurrent Resolution 3011.